In this video, we reveal why your Flutter app lags even when you isolate your state perfectly. Stop repainting everything. One tiny loading animation can drop your entire app to 15 frames per second. You isolate the state. You extract the widget. Set state only runs in a tiny little dot. But when you turn on highlight repaints in DevTools, the entire screen is flashing green. Here's a quick quiz. You have a stack with a const complex dashboard and a blinking dot that calls setState 60 times a second. Does this rebuild your dashboard? The answer is C. No, only the dot rebuilds. But the entire dashboard still repaints. Build isolation is not paint isolation. I used to think isolating the widget meant isolating the performance cost. The expectation is a clean tree where only the changed node updates. But the reality? The paint phase doesn't follow the widget tree. A tiny change in one node can splash wet paint across the entire screen. Paint is messy. On the left, a builder is slapping wet paint, and it splatters everywhere, hitting the kitchen, the sofa, the walls. On the right, the builder is inside a RepaintBoundary tent. He can paint all day, and the mess stays contained. That is what RepaintBoundary does. Here is how the ripple effect works. When a widget updates, the element calls markNeedsPaint on the render object. The render object then searches up the tree for a repaint boundary. If none is found, Flutter repaints the entire screen. That is the trap. Let's fix it in our Room Planner app. On the left, the security camera light causes the entire room detail to flash green 60 times a second. On the right, we wrap it in a repaint boundary, and now only the tiny camera icon repaints. We successfully quarantined the wet paint. But here is the reality check. RepaintBoundary is not free. It allocates a dedicated texture in RAM for each separate canvas. If you wrap 100 widgets in boundaries, your RAM usage skyrockets and your app crashes with an out-of-memory error. Profile first, boundary second. Don't paint the whole house for a blinking light. And with that, you now understand the full Flutter construction site. From blueprints to foreman, from constraints to life cycles, and now paint. You don't just write code anymore. You understand it. Watch the whole series from the beginning if you missed any part.